Open Your Door, Please, by David Edsel. The book is narrated here for your enjoyment. I am presenting the first chapter in this segment. At the beginning of each week, I will present one additional chapter for your enjoyment. There are a total of 10 chapters. Of course, if you would like, you can always order the printed book from any of these booksellers. Open Your Door, Please examines the ways in which God presents His goodwill to us. God provides us with His love and with the tools to succeed. As author David Edsel notes, we cannot use these tools if we are not open to them. We cannot let God in if we do not open the door to Him. Open Your Door, Please explores the ways in which God has guided the author and presented him with opportunities and tools throughout his life. He willingly treats his own life and personal history as a case study, examining the choices we can make and the differences that can be had if we will allow God to point us in the direction of His choosing. Chapter 1: Creating True Love. God can do anything. There's nothing that God can't do. Really? I don't think so. In order for God to be the God that He is, there are things He can't do. In order for God to achieve His goals, there are things He can't do. Now, before you get your panties in a wad, let's talk about this. Can God hurt us just for the fun of it? Not if He really loves us. Can God program us to do exactly what He wants? Not if He wants love from us. Now, let me say in the onset that the conclusions I am presenting in this book do not necessarily come specifically from the Word, that is, the Bible. They come from studying the Word and then coming to these conclusions and possibilities. In the beginning, before the creation of the physical earth and man, God made angels. This could have been the day before creation or 1 billion years before, because time is of the physical, and God had not yet created the physical. Angels do have a free will. Some choose to defy God, and they call them the fallen angels. The unfallen angels serve God in His perfect world without the presence of sin to dissuade them. They choose to obey God, and so God uses them as helpers. The fallen angels may have a purpose, however. As we attempt to reason why God created humans, I think it is possible that He wanted a being that was physical rather than spiritual. Perhaps His greatest desire was to have physical beings that truly love Him. So let's explore what He might have to do to achieve this. The challenge is the word love. God could simply program us without a free will to love Him. But wait, that would not be love, only obedience. If the physical beings are to truly love God, they would have to choose to do so, just like the angels must have done in their beginning. So physical beings have to have the ability not to choose to love God as well. To achieve a being with superior love, their choice would have to be harder. A physical world would be necessary for their existence, and that world would have to hold temptations. Who better to run such a world than the fallen angels and the head honcho, Lucifer? The test for physical beings would be much harder, creating a more perfect love for God, at least for those who pass the test. God created the physical beings after His own image, giving them everything they needed to pass the test or to fail. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, the first physical beings, were originally living in the perfection of the garden. Then along came Satan with temptation, and God allowed it. It was all part of what God knew would happen. Did God program Satan to fail his test in the beginning so he could be used here in the physical world to train physical beings, so some of them could ultimately have the greatest love for God? I seriously doubt that. But He knew Satan would fall and He would use him. Now the physical being could no longer have fellowship and direct contact with God because they failed this first test and allowed sin to come into them. Now the physical beings would find it much harder, even impossible, to follow God perfectly and to love Him perfectly. Is the project a failure? It might have been if God hadn't been who He is. God did not make Adam and Eve fail this first test, but He knew they would. So He set out to use this situation to continue the making of the physical being with the greatest of love for Him. Now that man, physical being, had become filled with sin, he would no longer be fit for heaven or God, and he would not find God fit for him. So somehow God must find a way to help the physical being change enough so that they can be happy in heaven with the perfect love between each other and with God. The tool that God decided to use is called faith. You must have faith in the teaching of God and a belief that God actually exists and cares for you. Being filled with sin pretty much guarantees that you won't have much success in having faith in God without some help. So, God sent His only begotten Son, God the Son, to teach us how, and to clean the slate for us because, well, we can't do it alone. This paved the way so God, the Holy Spirit, can begin working with us. With a clean slate made possible by Christ dying on the cross, our willingness to accept that, and our openness to allow the Holy Spirit to work with us, we can achieve the faith necessary to remake us into physical beings that will be fit and happy for heaven. Certainly, not all of us will achieve this. Actually, not many at all. Most will live with their sins and die with them. Only then will they fully realize what they have lost. In fairness, some of us may have a little advantage over others. Chapter 2: Advantages. To be continued next week. God bless you, my friends.